Hey, check it out. So today I'm here in Ukraine with a lot of beautiful souls, and we've got refugees here, and we're handing out food, supplies, the things that they need. They've been internally displaced. And today's video is, what is your motivation for wanting to create wealth? There's a lot of people that don't know why they want to. Today I'm going to share with you my why. I'm hoping that you can find yours, because if you want to do very well financially, if you want to crush it in the game of real estate, you better have a why so big that it takes your breath away. One shot, now the future is yours. Go! So today's video is really about discovering what motivates me and what's going to motivate you. Is it the game of independence? Is it producing more than you need so that you can leave a legacy? Maybe it's showing your posterity, the next generation, the cool, good things that you can do on this planet when you have more than enough, an abundance of resources. Real estate makes that possible. I mean, you got to ask, why aren't people as successful as they want to be? 92% of people fail their New Year's resolutions. 75% of employees fail to meet the expectations of their employers. Nearly 1/3 of Americans say their career provides them little to no meaning. These brutal stats raise the question, why are people so bad at getting what they want from life? And I'm going to tell you right now that the number one reason why people aren't getting what they want out of life is because they have barked up the wrong tree. As in, literally, they thought that a college degree or a career was going to give them everything that they wanted. But you see, here's the funny thing about dreams. The bigger the dream, generally, the more money it's going to take, the more people it's going to take, the more intentionality it's going to take. And this is what causes a lot of people to drive into the game of real estate. 90% of all millionaires made that million, not in business, certainly not working for somebody else. They made it through investing in real estate. That's what got me in the game of real estate. And frankly, it's part of why I'm here in Ukraine able to do what I'm doing today. Now, I'm going to tell you right now one of the mistakes that people make. They get focused immediately on how. How do I invest in real estate? What's it going to take? What is the order and the sequence of things? Like, how do you do it? But I'm going to tell you all that information is available. And I've made like 1 million videos on this channel of exactly how I've done it. What holds people back usually is not the how. It's the why. The power of why. This comes from Friedrich Nietzsche. He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. My why dates back to me being a newlywed with my wife. We had been married for a few months. We were so in debt and so out of money after working full-time and going to school full-time that I had this really scary moment where I found my wife in our tiny little basement apartment crying. Her cheeks had been stained with tears because she had tried to go grocery shopping and the card bounced. She literally didn't have money in her account to even pay for 5 days of groceries, and she was hungry. And when I found her in that condition, on the one hand, I felt awful. I felt like I had let down my best friend. But I also found a new motivation. I found my why. And it was, I am not going to be in the same situation my parents were my entire childhood, that were fighting about money and always trying to get out of debt and refinancing the house to try to get their head financially above water. I decided, I vowed, I swore that it was going to be different. And because that why was so powerful, 4.5 years later, I was financially independent. I graduated college. I didn't need to go get a job, and I didn't. Instead, I quit the only job that I ever had. And now my wife and I were creating life on our terms. Financial freedom through real estate gave us that. And it was our why that powered our how. So let me start by telling you what trees not to bark up, and let me tell you what your why likely is not. Fancy cars and a nice house are great, but those are not the type of why that will actually motivate you for the long haul, especially through the difficult parts. Think about it. Investing in real estate means that you're going to learn how to wear different hats and do things that you're not comfortable with. It could literally be, how do I find really great deals? Or it could be, I have to search and look at 100 homes before I find a really great deal. Or what if I don't want to be the landlord, and who's going to talk to these tenants, and what do you do if they beat up the place? And your mind runs wild without your mastery and expertise yet on all the things that could go wrong. And all of a sudden, without a deep enough why, we lose our steam and we fail. Who do you care about most? What cause do you want to help advance? Whatever it is, your desire needs to be strong. It needs to be deeply personal. My dad and my grandmother were refugees. And I lived in Germany for 2 years before I went to college. And when I came back, I remember my grandma telling me in her native German tongue, was one of the only times in my life before she passed that I could actually connect with her as a person because her English was so broken. And it was strangers that helped her as a refugee that ended up saving her life. And I just felt that way on my heart, that even though she's passed on, there are refugees here and it's time for me to pay it back. And that why, that is so deep in my heart. This is my 3rd trip to Ukraine and the good that we're doing here. But when I look at when my why really started being fulfilled, it's when I took my parents in. And for the last 13 years, I've been able to care for them and all of their financial needs, pay for their hearing aids and send them on trips and eliminate all the expenses and all the debts in their life. That's one of the most meaningful things that I've ever done. Second most meaningful thing, trips like this, where you and I, we are connected to different causes on this planet. And if you can find your people that you're meant to serve, should you find yourself in great abundance, that might end up becoming your why. Now, maybe that helps you find your why, but then you got to figure out how to turn that into your how. 40% of the average millionaire's wealth is invested in real estate, more than any other asset class. And I'm telling you right now, that is not by accident. Real estate investing allows average people to secure above average wealth, helping them transform their why into reality. And that's exactly what real estate has done for me. It's created this incredible platform. And you may not know the how yet, but if you know your why, the how will manifest. In fact, if you've been watching me on my social for some time, I may actually be your how. Because instead of just teaching courses and showing people how to do it, I find that there's a higher percentage of people that say, hey, Kris, can I leverage your $2 billion track record in real estate transactions over the last 20 years? Can I partner with you? Can we do it together? Can you be my how? And I am that how for hundreds of people all over the world. They'll watch videos like this, they'll click the link below, and they'll go on a journey of looking at my track record and us vetting each other and deciding whether we're meant to partner in the game of real estate. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you have money in a 401k, an IRA, equity in a house, money literally sitting in savings, being eroded by inflation, people in real estate are crushing it right now. I've never earned higher ROIs in all my life, and that's because when the market is down, it's the best time. When the market is up, it's the best time. I've got a system that works regardless of what's happening in the market. And if you want to know what that looks like, click the link below. I might be your how. Now, you might find that you're more of a hands-on person and you don't want to partner, you really want to do it yourself. Frankly, that's how I started before I started partnering with other people. And if that's you, then here are the 5 steps of investing that I want to teach you today so that you can start nailing down some of the how. Step 1, you need to identify your target market and you've got to identify discounted properties. And if you're a subscriber on my channel, I got plenty of videos that will show you exactly how to do that. The second step is to raise capital to purchase the home. Now, you literally might have access to the capital right now through a 401k or an IRA or a savings, but you also might have a family member or a friend or a work colleague or a boss that says, hey, if you're going to put in the work of this whole real estate thing and figure out some of the how and find good deals and do the work, maybe I can partner up with you by putting up the money. And that's frankly how a lot of real estate gets financed. It's either self-financed or it's someone else putting up the money. And then of course the bank is going to put up the majority of the money. Step 3, find a way to maximize cash flow. In other words, if you're going to buy and hold a property, which is something I like to do, because when you buy it and you hold it, you're basically going to put a tenant in it to pay it off over time for you. But there's got to be leftover money. That means that my mortgage was $1,500 a month, property management was $200 a month, with expenses and everything was $1,800 a month, but I'm collecting $2,200 a month on rent. There's $400 left over. Buy properties that have $300, $400, $500, or $600 left over every month if they're purchased around the median for your area. Step 4, pull appreciated equity out of the home to purchase more homes. Literally, if you buy a home and hold it long enough and it appreciates in value, you can go back to the bank and get on a primary residence a home equity line of credit. On an investment property, you can do a cash out refinance and basically say, hey, I can either sell that home and use the money to go buy more homes, or I can keep the home and there's still ways of accessing some of the money out of it to get more homes. And then the 5th and final step, rinse and repeat, which means keep buying more homes, stay with it. You're gonna deepen your expertise, you're gonna get better at it. And in time, you're gonna wake up and say, wow, I own a lot of real estate, I've mastered a lot of this niche. And hopefully you wake up one day and say, wow, and there's millions of dollars to accompany it. And now my why that kept me in the game and the mastery that I have causes me to want to pour that money into a greater lifestyle, memory making, or the greater good on this planet that I want to do. And I'm going to tell you right now, those projects are the ones that create some of life's greatest fulfillment. They're the ones that really matter the most. Just like people making fortunes with real estate, inexperienced investors lose money all the time. Knowing how, when, and where to buy is both an art, it's also a science. Consider giving your why the best chance possible and causing this new reality by joining forces with an experienced team of investors who can guide you through the learning process. Right now, if you want to learn more about partnering with me, what it takes to really succeed in real estate, and if you want to leverage a system that has been perfected through time over the last couple of decades, click the link below. Let me show you what partnering looks like. Let me show you how we could literally partner up and crush it together. Me, on the other hand, I'm getting in that van. We've got more good to do. We're here for 10 days on this particular humanitarian trip to Ukraine, and we're going to do maximum good. Thank you, real estate, for making that possible. And who knows, maybe I'll see you as my real estate partner next. Hey, want to dive deeper on your real estate journey? You want to see what next level success can look like, but what it's going to take? Click this video right here. The internet thinks this is the one that you're going to need next, and I'll join you on the next step of your journey.